Hey, what's up guys? Today we're diving into the world of first-person shooters on the Steam Deck. This little powerhouse has proven it can handle some of the most demanding games out there, and FPS titles are no exception. Whether you're into the fast-paced action of Doom Eternal or the strategic depth of Resident Evil, the Steam Deck has got you covered. We're counting down the top 25 FPS games that not only run smoothly, but also offer an incredible portable gaming experience. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. If you're as excited as we are about today's topic, show some love by liking and subscribing to Retro Pocket for more amazing content. Titanfall 2. Developed by Respawn Entertainment, this game takes everything that made the original Titanfall great and takes it up a notch. Titanfall 2 offers a well-rounded experience that caters to both casual gamers and hardcore FPS fans. One of the standout features of Titanfall 2 is its single-player campaign, a significant addition absent in the original game. You step into the shoes of Jack Cooper, a rifleman who unexpectedly becomes the pilot of a Vanguard-class Titan named BT-7274. The campaign is a roller coaster of innovative level designs and mechanics, including a memorable mission involving time travel. The relationship between Jack and BT is surprisingly heartfelt, adding an emotional touch to the high-octane action. The arsenal in this game is as diverse as it is deadly. You've got your classic assault rifles like the R201 carbine, which is your go-to for high accuracy and fire rate, and the Hemlock BFR for those who prefer burst fire. Submachine guns such as the CAR and Volt offer consistent damage and pinpoint accuracy, perfect for close-quarters combat. However, if you're into heavy firepower, light machine guns like the Spitfire and L-Star deliver sustained damage. Each weapon can be customized with mods and sights to fit your playstyle, making every firefight as thrilling as you want. When it comes to multiplayer, Titanfall 2 truly shines. The game retains the fast, fluid movement mechanics that made the original a hit, including wall running, double jumping, and sliding. The addition of new Titans, each with unique abilities and playstyles, adds more variety to the gameplay. Its free DLC policy ensures that the community isn't fragmented, and the game's visual and audio design are top-notch, providing a truly engaging experience whether you're playing on a console or PC. If you're tired of the same old shooters and want something that feels both fresh and familiar, Titanfall 2 is a must-play.
We are not alone.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Every day, the brave men and women of the OCP police force go out and fight to keep us safe. Tonight, thanks to Robocop, we'll show you how.
Robocop Rogue City. Robocop Rogue City is a nostalgic trip back to the 80s that fans of the original movies will surely appreciate. Developed by Teon, the game is a first-person shooter that places you in the metallic boots of Robocop, patrolling through the streets of Detroit to take down crime lords. The game kicks off with a bang, throwing you into a hostage situation that sets the tone for the action-packed gameplay that follows. One of the standout features of Robocop Rogue City is its dedication to capturing the essence of the original films. From the iconic Auto-9 pistol to the slow, deliberate movements of Robocop, the game nails the look and feel of its source material. The environments are meticulously crafted with glistening asphalt, neon lights, and back alleys that scream 80s dystopia. The soundtrack, heavy on synth, perfectly matches the visuals, making you feel like you've stepped into a lost chapter of the Robocop saga. However, this dedication to authenticity is both a blessing and a curse. While the game excels in making you feel like Robocop, it also inherits some of the character's limitations. Robocop's movement is slow and clunky, which can make the gameplay feel sluggish compared to more modern, fast-paced shooters. However, combat is where Robocop Rogue City shines, with some exceptions. The Auto-9 pistol is a joy to use, especially with upgrades that make it even more powerful. The ability to grab and throw enemies or objects adds a fun, chaotic element to the gunfights, but the game's AI and enemy variety leaves something to be desired. In many combat scenarios, the focus is on defeating large groups of similar, generic enemies. The story, set between Robocop 2 and 3, is serviceable but not groundbreaking. It touches on familiar themes of corporate greed and the struggle between man and machine, but doesn't delve deeply enough to offer any new insights. The side missions and dialogue choices definitely give the game a realistic feel, allowing you to explore Robocop's humanity. Robocop Rogue City is a love letter to fans of the iconic 80s action hero. Playing as Robocop definitely feels powerful and satisfying.
Wow, Ethan Winters.
Resident Evil Village. If you're a fan of the franchise, you surely know why this game is in the list. This game is a roller coaster of horror and action. It blends the best elements of Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The game kicks off with Ethan Winters, our hero from Resident Evil 7, plunged into a new nightmare. This time, he's in a creepy, Transylvanian-like village searching for his kidnapped daughter. The village is a character in itself, with its spooky atmosphere and diverse environments ranging from the opulent Castle Dimitrescu to the grimy industrial Heisenberg's factory. Each area is ruled by a unique and twisted villain, adding levels of suspense and horror to the storyline. Resident Evil Village takes the action up by a few notches compared to its predecessor. The game throws a variety of enemies at you, from lycans to mutants, ensuring you're always on your toes. The combat is intense and satisfying, with a solid crafting system that lets you decide whether to create ammo or traps. Ethan is more agile this time thanks to some off-screen military training, which makes the combat feel more dynamic and less claustrophobic. Now, let's talk about the big bads. Lady Dimitrescu, the towering vampire, has become an internet sensation, but her screen time is surprisingly short. The other villains, like the dollmaker Donna Beneviento and the merman Salvatore Moreau, each bring their own brand of horror. However, some boss fights can feel a bit repetitive and lack the strategic depth you might expect. They're more about circle strafing and shooting glowing weak points than anything else. The audio design is something to talk about. The sound cues are crucial for survival, helping you pinpoint the location of enemies in the dark, creepy village. The puzzles in Resident Evil Village are a mixed bag. They're generally straightforward and sometimes even spoon-fed to you via notes. This might disappoint those who enjoy the brain teasers of earlier games. However, the exploration aspect is rewarding. Now, for those wondering about the Steam Deck experience, Resident Evil Village runs impressively well on the handheld. The game maintains a stable frame rate and the controls feel responsive. The Steam Deck's portability means you can dive into the horror wherever you are, making it a fantastic way to experience the game. Wolfenstein: The New Order. Wolfenstein: The New Order is a thrilling alternate history first-person shooter that takes you on a ride through a world where the Nazis won World War II. Developed by Machine Games, this game sets the bar high with its intense gunplay and engaging storyline. As William B.J. Blazkowicz, you wake up from a 14-year coma to find the world under Nazi control, and you join the resistance to take down the regime. The game is packed with explosive set pieces, from storming Nazi fortresses to infiltrating a moon base, keeping the action fresh and super engaging. One of the standout features of the New Order is its commitment to storytelling. The game doesn't shy away from the horrors of war, presenting a story filled with emotions, unexpected twists, and moments of genuine human connection. The relationship between BJ and Anya, the nurse who cares for him during his coma, adds a good emotional connect that is rare in the genre. The characters are well acted, and while some may come off as cliches, they serve the story well and keep you invested in the outcome. The gameplay is where Wolfenstein: The New Order truly shows you what the game is all about. The gunfight is pretty instinctive, with a variety of weapons that feel powerful and impactful. Whether you're dual-wielding shotguns or using a laser rifle to cut through enemies, the combat is consistently heart-pounding. The game also offers some stealth mechanics, allowing you to take down enemies quietly if you prefer a more tactical approach. However, the real fun lies in going in guns blazing, as the game's environments are destructible, making every firefight chaotic. However, the balance of difficulty can be off, with enemies either being too bullet spongy on higher difficulties or too easy to kill on lower ones. The collectibles and perks system also feels somewhat tacked on, adding little to the overall experience. On the Steam Deck, Wolfenstein. The New Order runs remarkably well. The game's performance is smooth and the controls are buttery, making it a great option for portable play. Its blend of intense action, compelling story, and high production values make it a standout title. While it has its shortcomings, the overall experience is more than enough to keep you hooked from start to finish. Deathloop. Deathloop, developed by Arcane Studios, is a masterclass in innovative game design and storytelling. The game pushes players into the shoes of Colt, an assassin trapped in a time loop on the mysterious island of Black Reef. The goal? To break the loop by assassinating 8 targets known as visionaries before the day resets. Sounds simple, right? Not quite. Each loop offers new opportunities and challenges, making every attempt feel fresh and engaging. The game's art style is a vibrant blend of 1960s retro futurism, which is both visually stunning and immersive. The voice acting, particularly from Colt and his rival Juliana, adds real personality to the story. Gameplay-wise, Deathloop excels with its fluid combat mechanics and the freedom in approaching objectives the way you want. Whether you prefer going in guns blazing or taking a stealthier approach, the game accommodates various play styles. The powers, similar to those in Dishonored, let you make strategies, allowing for creative kills and escapes. The multiplayer aspect, where players can invade others' games as Juliana, adds an exciting twist, keeping you on your toes and ensuring no two loops are the same. However, some players have noted occasional technical issues such as frame rate drops and crashes, particularly on the PC version. The AI can sometimes be inconsistent, with enemies occasionally displaying erratic behavior. However, on the Steam Deck, Deathloop performs admirably. The portable Powerhouse handles the game's demanding graphics and mechanics with surprising ease. Deathloop is a bold and refreshing take on the first-person shooter genre, mixing story, gameplay, and style into an enjoyable package.
The only thing they fear is you.
Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is a masterclass in first-person shooter design, blending power and an adrenaline-pumping soundtrack to give you one of the most energizing gaming experiences out there. Developed by ID Software, this sequel to the 2016 reboot takes everything that made its predecessor great and cranks it up to 11. As the Doomslayer, you are once again tasked with taking on the forces of hell, but this time with even more tools at your disposal, including mid-air dashes and a diverse range of weapons that keeps the combat going on forever. The single-player campaign is a standout, offering around 15 hours of relentless action that continually challenges you to play faster and smarter. The game doesn't just throw enemies at you, it teaches you how to become more efficient in your demon-slaying adventures. The level design is detailed that requires you to think on your feet and adapt your strategy within moments. The addition of platforming elements and puzzle solving breaks up the combat nicely, keeping the gameplay anything but boring. Multiplayer in Doom Eternal has also seen significant improvements with the introduction of Battle Mode, a 2v1 experience where one player takes on the role of the Doom Slayer while 2 others control demons. This one demands skill and strategy, offering a fresh take on multiplayer that stands out from the traditional deathmatch formats. However, it's worth noting that Battle Mode might not be everyone's cup of tea, as it requires a different set of skills compared to the single-player campaign. Some players have found the game's difficulty spikes to be frustrating, particularly in the later levels. Additionally, the game's fast-paced nature may not appeal to everyone, especially those who prefer a more methodical approach to shooters. On the technical front, Doom Eternal runs exceptionally well on the Steam Deck. The game's optimization ensures smooth performance, making it a fantastic option for portable play. All I'm trying to say is that Doom Eternal is a must-play for any FPS lover. It builds on the foundation laid by its predecessor. The overall package is so expertly crafted that it's easy to overlook its minor flaws.
Ghostus and...
Dying Light. Dying Light, a game that has managed to breathe new life into the zombie genre. Developed by Techland, this open-world, first-person survival horror game is set in the fictional city of Heron, where a deadly pathogen has turned the population into flesh-eating monsters. You play as Kyle Crane, a government agent sent to infiltrate the quarantine zone and retrieve sensitive documents. The plot might not win any awards for originality, but it serves its purpose, pushing you into the heart of the action. What sets Dying Light apart is its blend of parkour and combat mechanics. Imagine combining the free-running fluidity of Mirror's Edge with the visceral melee combat of Dead Island. The parkour system allows you to traverse the city's rooftops and alleys with ease, making movement a joy rather than a chore. Early on, Crane might feel a bit sluggish, but as you level up, you unlock abilities like faster climbing, wall running, and even a grappling hook, which, while handy, can sometimes make things a bit too easy. Combat in Dying Light is satisfyingly brutal. Melee weapons are your primary tools of destruction, and they feel weighty and impactful. You can find or craft a variety of weapons, from hammers and axes to cricket bats and machetes. Each weapon type behaves differently, adding of strategy to your zombie slaying. The game's physics make combat even more enjoyable. Zombies react realistically to your attacks, stumbling over obstacles or being sent flying by a well-placed blow. Guns are available, but rare, and ammo is scarce, emphasizing melee combat and resourcefulness. The day-night cycle in Dying Light adds good dynamics to the gameplay. During the day, you scavenge for supplies and complete missions while dealing with relatively slow zombies. But when night falls, the game transforms into a tense, high-stakes survival horror experience. More aggressive and dangerous zombies, known as volatiles, come out to play. Venturing out at night is risky but rewarding, offering significant XP boosts and some of the game's best moments. Visually, Dying Light shines, pun intended. The city of Heron is beautifully rendered with detailed environments that feel lived in and believable. If you are into zombie killing, then this is definitely your jam. Its parkour skills and combat action make it one of the most engaging open-world games out there.
This isn't a dream. It's a nightmare. There's no room for uncertainty.
Prey. Prey, once again developed by Arkane Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks, is a first-person shooter that mixes elements of survival horror and immersive sim. Set aboard the sprawling Talos 1 space station, players step into the shoes of Morgan Yu, navigating through a web of environment full of alien threats known as Typhons. The game excels in environmental storytelling and offers a detailed world that feels lived in and strangely realistic. Talos 1 is a marvel of design, with its Art Deco aesthetics seamlessly transitioning into utilitarian space station interiors. It creates a sense of both grandeur and claustrophobia. One of the best features of Prey is its emphasis on player creativity and problem solving. The game encourages you to think outside the box. Whether it's using the glue gun to create makeshift platforms or employing the mimic power to transform into smaller objects to bypass obstacles. These mechanics come handy during moments of exploration and puzzle solving, making every locked door a challenge rather than a frustrating barrier. However, Prey does have room for improvement. The combat, particularly in the early stages, can feel mediocre and clumsy. The most common enemies, mimics, rely heavily on jump scares and can become a repetitive nuisance. The game's AI can also be inconsistent at times, failing to detect the player in obvious situations or spotting them from improbable distances. However, Prey's strengths far outweigh its weaknesses. The Neuromod system offers a crazy range of abilities, both human and alien, giving you a highly customizable play style. Whether you prefer stealth, hacking, or direct combat, there's a path for you. The resource element centered around recycling and fabrication adds some insane amount of realism. All of these makes scavenging and crafting feel rewarding and essential. Overall, Prey is a gameplay that excels in environmental storytelling and player agency despite some combat-related drawbacks. Its immersive world and mechanics make it a go-to for fans of the genre. Black Mesa Definitive Edition. A fan-made remake of the legendary Half-Life. This game, crafted by Crowbar Collective, is a heartfelt tribute to the original Half-Life while adding its own unique style. Imagine taking the iconic Half-Life experience, giving it a modern facelift, and sprinkling in some new surprises. That's Black Mesa for you. Crowbar Collective has done an outstanding job using the Source engine to breathe new life into the Black Mesa research facility. The environments are richer, more detailed, and feel more alive than ever. The opening tram ride, for instance, is longer and more immersive, setting the tone for the rest of the game. You'll notice scientists bustling around, guards at new checkpoints, and a soundtrack that perfectly complements the creepy atmosphere. Gameplay-wise, Black Mesa sticks closely to the original Half-Life structure, but with significant improvements. The combat is tighter, the AI smarter, and the overall experience more polished. Remember those tedious sections like On a Rail? They've been trimmed down to keep the pace brisk and engaging. The Marines are no longer robotic sharpshooters, but still pose a challenge, making every encounter thrilling. Now, let's talk about Zen. In the original Half-Life, Zen was the low point, a drab, frustrating series of floating islands. Black Mesa transforms Zen into a vibrant alien world that's a joy to explore. The level design here is top-notch, with expansive environments, new puzzles, and a sense of wonder that was missing before. However, purists might find some changes jarring, but for the most part, these tweaks enhance the game rather than detract from it. Far Cry 3 and 4. Far Cry 3 and 4 are two standout entries in Ubisoft's acclaimed series. Each offers a unique yet familiar blend of open-world exploration, tactical combat, and engaging storylines. Far Cry 3 throws you into the chaotic world of Rook Island, a tropical paradise turned nightmare. You play as Jason Brody, a privileged young man who transforms from a terrified tourist into a hardened survivor. The island itself feels alive, filled with dangerous wildlife and hostile pirates. The game's strength lies in its open-ended gameplay, whether you're liberating enemy outposts, hunting exotic animals, or exploring hidden caves, there's always something thrilling to do. The character of Vas Montenegro, with his unpredictable madness, steals the show and adds psychological depth to the game. However, the multiplayer and co-op modes feel tacked on and don't capture the magic of the single-player experience. Far Cry 4 takes the formula to new heights, quite literally by setting the game in the Himalayan region of Kirat. You play as a Jay Gale who returns to his homeland to scatter his mother's ashes but gets caught up in a civil war. Kirat is a visually stunning world filled with towering mountains, lush valleys, and ancient temples. The game introduces new mechanics like climbing gear and the ability to ride elephants, adding more to the already rich gameplay. The story is convincing, though Ajay himself feels somewhat bland compared to the colorful characters around him, like the charming yet psychotic pagan Min. Both games run impressively well thanks to Valve's solid hardware. It simply makes it easy to get lost in these expansive worlds. Plus, Far Cry 4, while borrowing heavily from its predecessor, adds enough new features to make it feel fresh and exciting. So, if you're looking for an open-world shooter that offers endless possibilities, both Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 deliver in spades. They each have their quirks, but the sheer freedom and variety they offer make them standout titles worth experiencing, especially on a versatile platform like the Steam Deck. F.E.A.R Platinum. F.E.A.R Platinum Collection is an absolute gem for fans of first-person shooters. This collection bundles the original F.E.A.R game with its two expansions, Extraction Point, and Perseus Mandate. It offers a comprehensive experience of the series. The gameplay is a thrilling mix of John Woo-style gunfights and chilling, supernatural elements similar to that of The Ring. The storyline is compelling, centered around a mysterious girl named Alma, and a series of paranormal events that will keep you on the edge of your seat. The combat mechanics are where F.E.A.R truly rocks. The slow-motion feature known as reflex time allows you to dodge bullets and take down enemies with precision, making every firefight feel cinematic and satisfying. The AI is also notably smart, using tactics such as flanking and taking cover, which adds challenge and realism to the encounters. Graphically, the game holds up surprisingly well for its age. The lighting and particle effects contribute significantly to the game's creepy atmosphere, and the sound design is top-notch, with unsettling noises and whispers that enhance the horror experience. The handheld screen does justice to the game's atmospheric visuals. Obviously, why else would this game be on this list? The performance is smooth with no noticeable frame drops, making it a perfect FPS title. And that is why F.E.A.R Platinum is yet another one to choose for any horror fan. It's a sweet combination of action and a chilling atmosphere that creates a gripping gameplay. And if you own a Steam Deck, this one is a no-brainer addition to your library. Superhot. Superhot is a game that redefines the first-person shooter FPS genre with its distinctive mechanics and minimalist aesthetic. The core concept is simple yet revolutionary. Time moves only when you do. This mechanics transforms every encounter into a strategic puzzle, where you choreograph your movements to dodge bullets, disarm enemies, and turn the tide of battle in your favor. Imagine being in the middle of a John Wick movie where every move is calculated and every second counts. The game's visuals are strikingly minimalist, featuring stark white environments and enemies made of red glass. This design choice not only makes the action easy to follow, but also adds an artistic style. Each level feels like a detailed set piece, where you're both the director and the main actor. The satisfaction of executing a perfect sequence of moves, taking out enemies in slow motion, is unparalleled. However, the main campaign is relatively short, clocking in at around 2 to 3 hours. While the game offers additional modes like Endless and Challenge to extend its replayability, some players might find the initial experience too brief. Additionally, the storyline, which unfolds through a series of cryptic messages and hacker-themed interludes, can feel a bit heavy-handed and may not connect with everyone, but this is what makes it a unique pick. Superhot is a breath of fresh air for gamers who are tired of the bloat and excess of modern first-person shooters. With its minimalist aesthetic, time moves when you move mechanics, Superhot strips the genre down to its core elements, delivering a unique and highly stylized gameplay. Superhot's design make it a perfect fit for players seeking a puzzle-like shooter that doesn't rely on flashy graphics. And of course, the portability of the Steam Deck allows you to dive into the game's intense, bite-sized levels whenever you have a few minutes to spare. The game's unique time manipulation mechanic and minimalist design set it apart from the crowd. Prodeus. Prodeus is a retro-inspired first-person shooter that blends old-school gameplay with modern visuals and tech. Developed by the two-person team at Bounding Box Software, this game is a salute to classic shooters like Doom and Quake. The game's premise is simple. You're a space marine caught in the middle of a war between two interdimensional factions, and your only goal is to survive and eliminate everything in your path. The story seems less important than the action, but the game's environment does a great job of setting the tone and atmosphere. Prodeus's greatest strength lies in its gameplay. The gunfights are tight, responsive, and incredibly satisfying. The arsenal includes classics like shotguns, rocket launchers, and plasma rifles, each with their own unique feel and sound effects. The shotgun in particular is a standout with a deep, bassy punch that never gets old. The game's level design stands out, featuring a mix of maze-like areas and more realistic spaces. As you progress, the levels become increasingly intense and creative, with the game throwing hordes of enemies at you in increasingly challenging scenarios. The game's difficulty is well balanced with 7 difficulty options to suit players of all skill levels. Visually, Prodeus is a stunning blend of old and new. The game's angular 3D environments are complemented by chunky sprites for enemies and objects. Additionally, modern lighting and visual effects gives more reasons to get hooked. Even the game's gore is over the top, with enemies exploding into a shower of blood and guts upon death. One of the game's absolute unique features is its level editor, which allows players to create their own custom levels. The editor is powerful and flexible, with a wide range of options for creating unique and challenging scenarios. The game's modding community is already thriving, with players creating everything from recreations of classic levels to entirely new experiences. However, the lack of proper boss fights is also a missed opportunity, with the game's final encounter feeling a bit anticlimactic. Despite a minor issue, Prodeus is a highly recommended play.
Path, are we clear?
This is my favorite part. Exciting.
Apex Legends? Apex Legends has carved out a unique niche in the Battle Royale genre since its launch. It has mixed, fast-paced action with character-driven gameplay. The game boasts a roster of 16 distinct legends, each equipped with unique abilities that encourage teamwork and strategy. This variety allows players to tailor their approach to matches, whether they prefer to support teammates, deal damage, or scout ahead. The synergy between legends can create heart-pounding moments, especially when players combine their abilities effectively. For instance, pairing Bloodhound with a smoke-throwing legend like Caustic can turn the tide in chaotic firefights, showing the game's emphasis on skill and cooperation over luck with loot. The gunplay in Apex Legends is another insane feature. Unlike other battle royales, where weapon rarity can dictate the outcome of encounters, Apex maintains a level playing field. Players can thrive with any weapon, as skill and strategy often outweigh the advantages of higher-tier gear. This design philosophy is complemented by a diverse arsenal of weapons, from snipers to shotguns, each requiring different tactics and precision. The introduction of Evo shields, which level up as players deal damage, adds more engagement, encouraging players to take risks early in matches. However, players have reported persistent audio bugs, particularly with footstep sounds, which can lead to frustrating surprises in combat. It's a good thing that the game's developers, Respawn Entertainment, are committed to regular updates, continuously refining the experience and introducing new content to keep the game fresh.
My name is Lo Wang. Make peace before I turn you into pieces.
Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warrior is a fantastic first-person shooter on the list. The game follows the story of Lo Wang, a wisecracking ninja warrior who gets caught up in a battle against ancient spirits from another dimension. The gameplay is a perfect blend of fast-paced shooting and satisfying melee combat. Wielding a katana feels incredible, especially when you start unlocking advanced moves like the powerful lunge and whirling attack. The sword combat is so much fun that you'll find yourself avoiding guns altogether, except for taking out flying enemies. The game's levels are huge, with a pleasing amount of visual variety ranging from Japanese temples to fiery demon dimensions. They're designed to accommodate epic battles against dozens of enemies, with plenty of secrets to uncover if you explore every nook and cranny. The level design is pure 90s nostalgia, with key cards, levers to lower water levels, and magically sealed doors. The story is also surprisingly deep, with a rewarding 20-hour campaign that features a memorable hero and a great contrast between the lighthearted banter and the somber backstory. While the graphics are just okay with some unsatisfying character models, the game makes up for it with the sheer joy of slicing enemies into bits with Wang's katana. The game's homespun graphics engine gets the job done, particularly with its beautiful renderings of light, shadow, blossom, and terracotta. The game's cultural appropriation is more sensible than the original, with jokes that are about Wang's character rather than his racial background. The story is still trite, but you end up fighting an ancient god who takes the form of a giant flying horse, so it's all good. All in all, it is a perfect fit for the Steam Deck, with its action and combat combine.
You didn't actually think we'd just let you walk in here, did you?
Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is a shooter that stands out in the crowded genre of military games primarily due to its gripping storyline and moral dilemma. Developed by Jaeger Development and published by 2K Games, it was released in 2012 and has since managed to gather a cult following. Set in a post-apocalyptic Dubai, players take on the role of Captain Martin Walker, leading a Delta Force squad sent to uncover the fate of a lost battalion. What starts as a straightforward rescue mission quickly spirals into a harrowing journey filled with ethical dilemmas and psychological horror. The game's story is its strongest asset, looking at moral ambiguity that challenge players' perceptions of heroism and guilt. The story tackles heavy themes like PTSD and the consequences of war, often leaving players questioning their actions and the nature of their character. As Walker descends deeper into the chaos of Dubai, the game forces players to confront the brutal reality of warfare, making each firefight feel impactful. Unlike many shooters that glorify violence, Spec Ops makes players feel the consequences of their actions, creating a haunting experience that stays long after your mom forcefully takes away your console. The AI companions, while occasionally helpful, can be sometimes unreliable, leading to moments where players feel abandoned in the heat of battle. Additionally, the multiplayer component, kinda average. A bit more depth could be useful, like in the single-player mode that makes it feel like an afterthought. The controls on the Steam Deck translate well to the handheld format, allowing you to engage yourself in the story without too many performance issues. The game's visuals, particularly the stunning depictions of a sand-swept Dubai, simply looks crazy, even on the small screen. Alright, so this is a must-play for anyone interested in a story-driven experience. Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo is a visually stunning action-adventure game that takes you in a supernatural version of Tokyo, where a mysterious fog has caused the city's population to vanish. The game's unique blend of Japanese folklore and modern urban settings creates a fascinating atmosphere that draws you in. You play as Akito, who is possessed by a spirit named KK, and together, you must uncover the truth behind the disappearances while battling a variety of ghostly enemies. The combat system is particularly engaging. It utilizes a mix of elemental powers that allow for dynamic and fluid encounters. The graphics are a standout feature, showcasing the vibrant neon lights of Tokyo alongside ghostly visuals that create a haunting yet beautiful world. The attention to detail in the environment is quite impressive, with various districts to explore, each filled with secrets and side quests that improve the overall gameplay. The game also features a storyline that, while at times can feel a bit disjointed, but keeps players invested in uncovering the mysteries of the city. And like every other game on this list, Ghostwire runs smoothly, maintaining a solid frame rate and colorful graphics on Steam Deck. The controls feel pretty natural, that makes it easy to navigate the world. While some critics have pointed out that the game's folklore inspirations don't always reach their full potential, I would say that the overall experience remains pretty enjoyable. The blend of horror with action gives you a unique gameplay that will surely keep you hooked. Deep Rock Galactic. Now, this one is a good mix of cooperative gameplay and chaotic mining action. Imagine a game where you and your buddies play as space dwarves, diving into procedurally generated caves filled with alien bugs and valuable resources. The thrill begins with the rush of exfiltration, where you have a limited time to escape after completing your mission, all while fighting off hordes of enemies. Each mission typically lasts between 15 to 25 minutes, and the sense of urgency is pretty real as you navigate the tunnels you've just explored. The game offers 4 distinct classes: Gunner, Engineer, Driller, and Scout, each with unique abilities that encourage teamwork and strategy. The Gunner is your heavy hitter, capable of laying down suppressive fire and creating zip lines for quick navigation. The engineer sets up automated turrets and builds platforms to aid the team, while the driller can carve through rock with ease, creating shortcuts and escape routes. And lastly, the scout, equipped with a grappling hook, shines in illuminating dark areas and scouting ahead. What sets Deep Rock Galactic apart is its seamless co-op experience. You can jump into missions with friends or join random players, and the community is truly welcoming. The game thrives on collaboration, with players often shouting "Rock and Stone" as a rallying cry. The humor and team spirit among players make each session feel like a fun adventure rather than just a grind. On the Steam Deck, the graphics, while not cutting edge, are charming and functional. Whether you're mining minerals or blasting bugs, the gameplay is just as engaging on the Steam Deck as it is on a full PC setup, with no microtransactions and a focus on rewarding gameplay. The variety of missions and the constant need for teamwork create a dynamic that keeps the gameplay fresh at all times. Now, this is one of those games that encourages exploration and creativity, allowing you to dig your own paths through the environment. Neon White. Neon White is all about speedrunning, platforming, and chaotic combat. It is all wrapped in a unique card-based mechanic that keeps players on their toes. Imagine a world where you're a dead assassin, plucked from purgatory to compete in a heavenly contest against demons. The objective? Navigate through beautifully designed levels at breakneck speed while eliminating enemies with an arsenal of heavenly weapons. The game's mechanics are simple, yet addictive. Each weapon is represented by a card that grants both a shooting ability and a special movement skill. For instance, discarding a pistol gives you a double jump, while a shotgun propels you forward like a fireball. This clever card system not only adds strategy to the gameplay, but also encourages players to think creatively about how to tackle each level. The aesthetic is a colorful mix of anime-inspired visuals and pop-punk vibes, similar to those of classic Japanese action games. The characters are obviously exaggerated and colorful, giving it a quirky narrative that, while only sometimes over the top, adds charm to the gameplay. The story unfolds through visual novel segments, which some players may find tedious, but they provide context and character development that is much needed to fully know the game. Yes, the dialogue can be hit or miss, but it's all part of the game's quirky appeal. What truly sets Neon White apart is its ability to hook you into a loop of continuous improvement. Each level encourages you to perfect your runs, chase your ghost, and discover hidden shortcuts. The thrill of shaving seconds off your best time is as real as it can get. With its unique blend of mechanics, presentation, and addictive gameplay, Neon White is a standout title that surely appeals to a niche audience. However, it will offer a refreshing experience for all gamers.
We finally got an actual piece of Syrian tech running.
Extraction has failed.
Serious Sam 3 BFE. Serious Sam 3 BFE is a nostalgic return to the chaotic first-person shooter experience. Released in 2011, this title embraces the old-school FPS mechanics with a modern twist. It delivers a relentless barrage of enemies along with some explosive action. Set in a war-torn Egypt, players step into the shoes of Serious Sam Stone, who quips his way through hordes of bizarre monsters. The gameplay is straightforward: run, shoot, and survive against waves of enemies that range from skeletal warriors to bomb-carrying kamikaze soldiers. The game's unapologetic approach to violence and humor is a hallmark of the series, with Sam's one-liners and the absurdity of the situations providing a light-hearted contrast to the bloodshed. One of the standout features of Serious Sam 3 is its gameplay mechanics. Players are encouraged to keep moving as the game rewards agility over cover-based tactics. The enemy NPCs are designed to swarm, creating a sense of urgency and excitement. The arsenal includes a variety of weapons from a sledgehammer to powerful guns, allowing players to experiment with different combat styles. However, the game does have its quirks. Ammo can be scarce and the pacing can feel uneven, alternating between intense battles and quieter moments that's gonna make you want more. The game's relatively low system requirements mean that it runs smoothly on the handheld device, allowing for a satisfying experience. Despite being a bit dated, it still manages to capture the chaotic essence of the gameplay smoothly. The ability to play in co-op mode adds to the fun, enabling players to team up against the relentless enemy waves, which is a blast if you sit along with your Steam Deck pals. While some critics have pointed out that Serious Sam 3 lacks the charm and variety of its predecessors, I think it still delivers a solid experience. The game's focus on pure action and mayhem, combined with its humorous tone, makes it a unique entry in this FPS list. Generation Zero. Generation Zero is an open-world action game set in 1980s Sweden, where the local population has mysteriously vanished and hostile machines have taken over the streets. As a gaming enthusiast, I was immediately drawn to the game's premise and retro-futuristic aesthetic. One of the game's standout features is its cooperative multiplayer, allowing you to team up with up to 3 friends to take on the robotic menace. The combat is challenging, yet satisfying, requiring you to strategize and perfect your fighting techniques to defeat the deadly machines. The open world is vast and beautifully crafted with a level of detail that truly take you in the spooky atmosphere of abandoned towns and countryside. As you traverse the open world, you'll uncover clues and unravel the mystery behind the disappearance of the population. The game's non-linear progression allows you to approach challenges in your own way, making each playthrough different than the other. One of the most impressive aspects of Generation Zero is its performance on the Steam Deck. It is just a perfect companion for those gaming sessions in cozy corners. The game's soundtrack is another highlight, perfectly capturing the vibe of the 1980s with its synth-heavy tunes. The sound design is equally impressive, with each machine's movements and attacks feeling true to the ear. While Generation Zero may not be for everyone due to its challenging difficulty and slow-paced exploration, it's a game that truly shines for those who appreciate a something different. If you're an open-world FPS fan and looking for a fresh take, this is for you.
Playing with 3 brothers and become fierce hunters.
Star Wars Republic Commando. Set during the tumultuous Clone Wars, this first-person shooter puts you in the boots of Delta Squad, an elite team of clone commandos tasked with executing high-stakes missions behind enemy lines. It's got gritty atmosphere and engaging dynamics, allowing you to experience a darker, more tactical side of the Star Wars saga. Each member of Delta Squad has a distinct personality and specialty. You'll find yourself barking orders as you navigate through massive firefights, utilizing your squad's unique skills to overcome challenges. The voice acting is top-notch, filled with witty banter that creates a sense of teamwork among your squad mates, making them feel like a family of violent misfits. The gameplay is a mix of action and strategy, though it leans more towards the action side. While there are only a handful of campaign levels, each is packed with adrenaline-pumping moments, especially during the iconic battle on Geonosis. The game captures the chaos of war beautifully, with a blend of close-quarters combat and larger-scale battles, similar to those of classic shooters like Call of Duty. However, some players might feel that the levels are too linear and that the game guides you too much with squad commands, which could have been improved with a more tactical approach. Star Wars Republic Commando is a must-play for all you fans of the Star Wars. Its unique perspective on the Clone Wars, combined with squad mechanics and, of course, the storyline, makes it a noteworthy title. Marathon. Marathon is a classic first-person shooter that has surely left a mark on the gaming world, and its recent resurgence on platforms like Steam Deck has made it more accessible than ever. Originally released in the mid-90s by Bungie, this game set the stage for the studio's later successes with Halo and Destiny. The gameplay in Marathon is a blend of exploration and combat where players navigate vast levels filled with aliens and some pretty interesting puzzles. Unlike many shooters of its time, Marathon requires players to complete specific tasks to progress. The quirky character Durandal, who guides you through the game with a mix of humor and vital information, brings the game to life. On the Steam Deck, the simple button mappings that allow for easy weapon switching works like magic. The dual-wielding mechanic where players can blast enemies with 2 shotguns simultaneously is just as insane now as it was back in the day. Plus, the ability to aim both vertically and horizontally make it stand out among others. However, players should be mindful of the game's tendency to induce motion sickness due to its rapid movement and tight-level designs, a quirk that some may find challenging. Multiplayer options are another highlight, with support for split-screen and even online play. Whether you're teaming up against waves of enemies or competing in classic deathmatch modes, the multiplayer experience nails it. Conclusion. And there you have it, folks. Our rundown of the top 25 first-person shooter games on the Steam Deck. Whether you're into classic titles or the latest releases, there's something here for everyone. So grab your deck, load up your favorites, and get ready to frag some enemies. If you enjoyed this list, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite FPS in the comments. Happy gaming, and see you in the next video.
Transformation. Wage will dawn.